بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وله. We're going to talk about today about riba. Okay, the chapter of riba. Why does he mention it here? Because we mentioned what bay' is last time, and that's the halal version of buying and trading. Here we're going to talk about the haram aspect of buying and trading, which is riba. Now, riba linguistically means to increase or to become higher. And how the people used to view riba basically was in that if they had money, they can try to make more money out of their money or try to get more out of the transactions. Some people have said that riba is specific for certain types, which we'll talk about. Others have said that riba, any non-halal or non-incorrect buying and selling is riba. So they included anything which, as we'll talk about different types of buying and selling which are haram. So they included that. And others have made it more specific, about it. So we're going to talk about the specific types, inshallah. So essentially there are three types of riba. Riba al-fadl, riba al-yad, and riba al-nisa or nasa. Nasa. Not nisa, not the women, but nasa, which means delaying, which we'll talk about actually. So, riba is haram, as we know from the Quran. Not only is it haram, it is one of the biggest kaba'ir, one of the major sins that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that He will declare war against a person who engages in riba. فإن لم ينتهوا فأذنوا فإن لم تفعلوا فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله. And also in the hadith of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم لعن الله آكل الربا وموكله وشاهديه وكاتبه. Okay, so the one who Allah has cursed, the one who consumes riba, the one who pays the riba as well, and the one who witnesses the contract, and the one who writes it. So anybody who's related to it. Also, it is something that's always been haram. It's never been halal. As Allah mentioned also about Bani Israel, وَأَخْذِهِمْ الرِّبَا وَقَدْ نُهُوا عَنْهُ, that they were taking riba, consuming it, even though they were prohibited from doing so. So, the first type, which is riba al-fadl, which means riba with increase in terms of material. The hadith of Prophet ﷺ is الذهب بالذهب, so gold and gold to gold, when you're exchanging gold with gold. الفضة بالفضة, البر بالبر, والشعير بالشعير, والتمر بالتمر, والملح بالملح, سواء بسواء, يدا بيد. He said the gold, when you're exchanging gold for gold, silver for silver, wheat for wheat, barley for barley, salt for salt, date for dates, they have to all be equal. Whenever you're exchanging, the same type of material has to be equal. Okay, you cannot exchange one for more. Okay. Now here, the ulama said that basically gold and silver is they were the commodity of the money, and basically it is your wealth. Okay. So if you have maybe some jewelry, some gold jewelry, and you wanted to get some, sometimes it happens, especially women, they like to change their jewelry, so they go to the goldsmith, and they'll take their gold, and the guys would say to her, okay, they'll weigh it for her, and they'll see how many grams, and they will give her they will consider that gram at a certain price, and then they can say to her, okay, you take anything else, but then that they will charge her a different price, usually a higher price for the one that she is bringing back. So here, this is riba when you are changing gold for gold. Must be the same weight. Okay, you can't give, and basically the same value. You can't be getting something different for something. What they have learned now, the goldsmiths, especially in Muslim countries, before they were doing this kind of haram practice. Now they've reformed their practice to that if a woman takes gold, he will value it for her, and he will say to her, okay, I'll buy this off you for this much, and he will give her the money. So then you take your money, and that's it. It's a separate transaction. Now she has her money, she can then go and buy any other gold that she wants. Okay, so that is effectively how to avoid riba al-fadl. And this is all taken from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. When he went to Khaybar, somebody brought him some dates, and these dates were very nice. So he was quite surprised by these dates. He said, "Akullu tamari Khaybar kahada." All the dates from Khaybar are like this. So the Sahaba, the person who brought him, he said, "La, inna lanashtari ar-ratlu min hada bi ratlayn." That this one ratl, one weight, and one weight of this, we buy it, we exchange 2 other lots of dates to get this one good quality. So the Prophet ﷺ said, "Hada riba, aynu riba, la taf'alu." Don't do this. This is riba. Bi'u ar-ratlayn, sell the 2 volumes that you're going to sell here, or the 2 weights. Sell it, get your money, then go and buy the other one for which is the same price. Now somebody might say, well, this is the same thing, and what is the problem? And you're reading the same thing, but here is to try to avoid, and there are bigger, if you like, consequences here, to avoid this malalignment of the same commodity. Okay, so, and also it's important that these transactions are separate. Alright, so when you sell, you can't be selling these 2 based on the fact that you're going to buy this. You know, as somebody might do, like the guy with the gold. He'll say, okay, I'll buy this off you, but only if you buy some gold off me. That is the same kind of principle. Now here they said, when the Prophet ﷺ mentioned these 6 categories, it's basically including, and it's almost like restricting the types of where riba can happen in terms of this exchange of rubble. So he said gold and silver include the wealth, and then the other types are including all types of food, whether they are for for energy, people have like energy foods, might not mean like energy meaning the carbohydrate foods that give energy. So this includes the grains, so he mentioned the wheat and the barley, but it includes any type of grain like corn, rice, any type of grain that a person consumes for energy perspective. But it also includes, when he mentioned the dates, it includes any type of food which is used for as a fruit. Okay, so it will include the apples, oranges, pears, pineapples as well. And as for when he mentioned the milh, the salt, then that is like the condiments, things that are added. So it includes the spices, the herbs, things like that. So basically it's including all different types of food items. This is going to be applicable to it in this regards. Now a common question a person is going to ask, what about money? The pounds and dollars, and he's not mentioned in this hadith. But here really, when you think about the story of what a pound is, do you know what the pound is? And in essence, this note, where it comes from?
Relates to gold.
Huh?
Relates to gold?
Yeah, but how? And how did it start off?
If you have some certain of gold in the bank, you can bring some amount of pound or something.
Yeah, something like that. But what happened?
It's like an IOU.
Yes.
So they deposit the gold, and He gives the paper.
Yes, that's right. Yes. So in the past, what people used to do, they used to have their gold or silver, so they would go and put it in the bank. Now, when a person for safekeeping, the bank has its security, has everything. So instead of people having it at home, now when they deposit the gold, the bank will issue them a note, a paper to say that. And that's why if you read now on the note, it says, "I promise to pay the bearer of this the value of this much." Yeah, I promise to. It's like the guy is promising that if you present him with this note, he will pay you. In theory, he will give you the equivalent of what it is in terms of either gold or silver. So with time, people start just to have a lot of these notes with them, and they start to use this to buy and sell, because instead of going back to the bank and getting their gold and then, no, I'll just use this. So that's why, in essence, the money, the currency, is really a reflection of the gold and silver in the bank. But with time, people started to forget the gold and silver in the bank, and they just use this as the actual money, to the extent that countries would sell off their gold and sell off them. They would have, it has no more value, etc. So that's the same perspective in that regard. Obviously, different currency is different. You can a different value for the pound and dollar, etc. But if you're going to change pound for pound, then again it has to be the same amount. In the past, in Saudi Arabia, I remember they used to have, so they had the riyal, so they had the paper one, and they would have the coin as well. It's the same man, but even here now we have £1 coins. Before we used to have the pound note. Yeah. So until they removed it, but now. So what happens in Saudi Arabia, you can only use the coin to make phone calls. This is going back maybe 20 years or something. So what sometimes you'll find people near the telephone booth, they will give you 9 of these coins for 10 riyal note. Okay, so effectively it was a riba transaction, because you're giving them 10 and they're giving you 9. But why they're giving you? Because you can use the metal to make the phone call. So this is riba al-fadl. So whenever you're going to exchange like items in this with these categories, they have to be equal, cannot be. But if it is gold for silver, dates for rice, no, that's fine. There's no set.
What animals?
Animals?
Sheep.
No, so it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. It applies in one context, which we'll mention now. But in this context, it doesn't apply. Okay. So that's riba al-fadl. The other one is riba al-yad. Riba al-yad is quite simple. That even the continuation of this hadith, either he said sawa'an bi sawa' yadan bi yad. So whenever you're going to exchange similar items, they have to be done hand in hand. So whenever you exchange items, there has to be done hand in hand. You give me, I give you. All right? We mentioned last week that this is to avoid any disputes by somebody saying, okay, you give me the item, I'll go home and get mine, and I'll give you. And so, no, you bring yours, I'll give you, you give me. Okay, khalas. It avoids any, or somebody might take it and then he'll exchange it for something else and bring you a forgery or whatever. Yani. So there's always to avoid that. So that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, سواء بسواء يدا بيد فإذا اختلفت هذه الأجناس فبيعوا كيف شئتم إذا كان يدا بيد. So must be hand or hand. Now you might, as I mentioned last time, you might allow someone to take an item and he'll pay you later, but then now it's going to become a matter of a loan, a dain, okay? And if it's going to be a dain, you should really write it and author, because it's all to avoid dispute. So if I say to you, okay, look, here's this gold, and you say, okay, I've got the money, I'll bring you the money in 1 week's time. Can I take the gold now? Okay, take the gold, but this money that you owe me. And this is a dain, this is a don which you promised to pay me, so it should be written and etc. and witnesses, because the whole idea is to prevent this dispute and this conflict. And obviously the last type of riba, which is that it is the riba of increase of money, yani an-nasa. Okay, so basically is when you give somebody an item, okay, and then he will say to you, give me this item and I will pay you back over a course of a year, 2 years, 5 years, but I'll give you more. Okay, so when it's a more, then that becomes a riba of nasa, which is what the usual whole dealings that is done today with the interest thing. So they give you a loan on the money, you take that money, but you're going to be paying back more money as an interest for that. That's the type of riba. Previously, what they used to do, the Arabic format, if you like, or the pre-Islamic format, was that they would give a debt, much like the credit card system. So they'll give you money, and you'll say, okay, I'll pay you back in a month, yeah? So when the month comes, and he's promised to give him the same amount, so it's interest-free. So £100, after 1 month. When the month comes, he will go to him, okay, where's my 100? And the guy will say, I don't have that. He said, okay, do you want another month, but you give me an extra £10? So the guy will say, okay. So therefore now he is buying time by paying a little bit more. So that's how, and so it's similar with the credit card. The credit card now will say to you, if you pay within this period, there's no interest. Once you go over, you start paying so much extra. And this includes any item. So even if it's not necessarily money, maybe somebody borrows from you a bag of rice, and he says, okay, I'll bring that. I'll pay you back a bag of rice, in 1 month's time. I'll give you 2 bags of rice in 2 months' time, or whatever. So any item where you're gonna be increasing, it's gonna be riba by delaying that time. So as we mentioned here, not only is it haram to take the interest, but also to pay it. So the whole contract is haram to get involved in. Okay. Now, ولا يجوز بيع ما ابتاعه حتى يقبضه. We mentioned that last time. You can't sell something until you actually take hold of it, and you actually take the item into your possession. Okay, so you can't sell something based on the fact that that you're going to get it. You're going to get in the future. I have something that I'm going to get in the future, and you're going to already sold the item. All right, so you buy somebody somebody wants to buy a car, and they give you a certain specification. You say, okay, I can get you that car. Then you say to them, okay, I'll get you this car with this specification for £1,000. The guy gives you £1,000, but you don't have that car. You're gonna still go and buy it from somebody else who's selling it for £800. You've seen it, so you're gonna go and get it. So you've made a deal, and you've sold something when you don't even have that other item yet. So this is not jaiz. It's not permissible for obvious reasons. What's the obvious reason? Yeah, there's going to be conflict here. You're going to take somebody's money. You might not be able to get the other car. So before you sell this one, you should take hold of it. I remember, subhanAllah, I had one of these imams from America, but I think he was an imam more like a title imam, rather than an actual has studied and things like that. But anyway, he had a big dispute with a brother in the UK because he went to a Muslim country and he bought lots of clothes. So he told the guy in the UK that I'm going to buy lots of clothes. I can bring it and you can sell it in the UK. And obviously cheaper clothes, Muslim country, etc. So the guy said to him, okay, I bring them and we'll see, or something, and to that effect. So when the guy came here, the guy said to him, well, I looked at the clothes, he said, these are not good quality or whatever, I'm not taking them. Well, the guy said, okay, I already bought them, I bought the clothes, and what am I going to do now? So there's a big dispute. And then, but when I discussed it with him, I said, look, from a real Sharia perspective, the guy is in the right, because at the end of the day, you've just told him that but he hasn't really bought it off you. There's no agreement that he's buying, because he hasn't seen the items. So there is a leap here where you're buying the items expecting him to buy it. But how can you expect him to buy it when he hasn't seen it, hasn't seen the quality, etc., etc.? So sometimes these kind of disputes happen when you don't have the clear agreement of that who's going to buy and the promise of buying and etc. Okay. Now also لا يجوز بيع اللحم بالحيوان, which is maybe not quite what you are asking, but you can't exchange some meat for an animal. Okay, so you've gone to the butcher and you've got the meat, and then you want to exchange that for a full sheep or whatever, because it's of the same, it's the same category, but it's a total different thing. It's a different process now here. A whole animal is different from an animal that's been prepared and etc.
What about inflation? So, say you lend someone, for example, 10,000, and then after 50, 100 years, that value obviously gets inflated. What about that?
Yeah, so the concept of inflation obviously is something, it's more modern kind of concept, because it relates to how a lot of indices related to modern life and the shares and stocks and things like that. In the past, they used to have items, so they used to deal in gold and silver, and gold and silver was a standard. Okay, so it's a standard because its price, even though it goes up and down, but it is a standard in terms of measuring that inflation, if you like. So in the past, even when people would take gold, you'd expect the gold to be the same, it's worth the same down the line. Nowadays, the value of the actual currency, not only is it goes up and down, but also it's affected by the whole global politics and things like that. So definitely inflation, a lot of the modern scholars say that inflation is taken into consideration. However, it has to be based on something which is accurate, accurate indices. It can't be just just give me 3 years, 3% for every year that's gone, and therefore that can't be that. So it has to be clear. Okay, and some people will say, okay, well, they might measure on certain parameters, like for example something that's fixed, like how much would the 6 eggs, 6 eggs, if I bought it 10 years ago, how much would I paid for it, how much would I pay for it now? That might give you a kind of idea of the price. So it's going to be something that's accurate, not something that is just based on a rough idea or whatever. Yeah. The other thing is also things which are not going to be liable to change. Like even like house prices now. House prices is not a good indication, because a lot of things change how houses are valued.
What about, Sheikh, if I buy something, for example, in cash, one go, or pay monthly? For example, for car insurance,
Yeah.
when you pay one go, you pay 500, but when you pay monthly, probably you're going to pay 600.
Yes. So the main concept here is, depending on how many parties are involved, is going to make it whether it's so again, there's a different opinion amongst the ulama, but those people who allowed al-bay' bil-ajal, meaning a delayed payment, they said that it must be only two parties, meaning that there's the seller and the buyer. The seller is allowing you to either buy it now with this money, or he will allow you to purchase it for a extension of time, and you pay this much. The moment some third party gets involved, usually that third party is going to be related to money. Meaning what? Meaning that the seller will take his money from the third party, they'll pay him, and he will go away. And then this guy who has loaned you the money now is going to take extra money back on the money. So the difference here is that the person who has money, which is the third party, they are making money out of money. That is the sort of like the founding principle of riba here. It's different when I have a commodity, bida'a, and I'm selling it to you, because now my money is being circulated, is being used in a certain way. Obviously with the car insurance, there's no, the whole concept of insurance anyway is based on a lot of inaccuracies or unexpected outcomes. So insurance is an exception because the contract of insurance in general is haram anyway. It's only halal for necessity, as a necessity. But other than that, if you're going to buy a car, if you're buying whatever, if there's there's nobody involved, just two parties, then it's okay. But once you involve third party, then it becomes riba. Yeah.
Because also in Saudi Arabia, some banks are, for example, if you need to buy this car,
Yeah.
so they're gonna say, I need this car.
Yeah.
The bank will buy it and sell it to you.
Yes. Yeah.
So they say that's allowed because
Yes.
we're selling our cars to you.
Yes. Yes.
But they're gonna, for example, this is cost £10,000.
Yeah, they're going to increase the price.
We
Yeah.
sell it for 20, 15, whatever.
Yes, yes. So here this is allowed because they are investing their money in a product. So they are buying it and selling it to you. I mean, in theory, it shouldn't be a dual contract, meaning that they're going to buy the car, and then but they're only going to buy if you're going to buy off them. If you're not going to buy off them, they're not going to buy the car. So they already link you into a contract that you're going to buy the car when they buy it.
Yeah, you're gonna ask for them to buy this car for you,
yes.
and you're gonna pay him the money.
Yeah. But so the halal version would be that they buy the car irrelevant of whether you're gonna buy it or not. Okay, because they can't force you to buy it until they have it, because it goes back to what we said before, that it has to be in their possession before they sell it on to you. So in this way. And the ideal scenario is that there is somebody who's a car dealer, he owns cars, and then he sells the cars to you by installments. Or he builds houses, a developer, and he sells to you the house. Not that he builds a house and then somebody else comes and finances the house for you to buy. So it becomes people who have money, they are making money out of their money.
Mortgage is the same. Like they buy it from you, but they sell it to you in excess money.
Yes.
But this is a riba, isn't it?
No, so
because the same thing like the concept of I buy that date, expensive date. I will give you two bags of date for that expensive one.
no, so
Same.
No, it's not the same. It's different, but it's not a clear. It's not free of any problems. It has its problems, but it's not the same as the conventional mortgage. So what the conventional mortgage does is that they give you money, they loan you the money, and they ask you to pay back the loan with more.
Yes.
The Islamic mortgage is that they buy the house with you as a shared ownership, Okay, so now you and the bank own, and then they sell you their portion,
And
as
you
well
pay-
as-
and you pay
and you pay rent as well.
you
Yes,
pay rent, you pay
Yes.
that, so
Yes.
you're paying double.
not double, but you're paying rent and you're paying. Yeah, like it. Yeah, the way if you think about it, it's like say you wanted to buy a house now. Yeah, I could say to you, يعني ثائر أو أيمن, here's 100,000. I will loan you that money. You go and buy the house and you live in it. Yeah, but you pay me back. Instead of paying me back 100,000, you're gonna pay me back 200,000 over 10 years. Okay, every month you pay me this much, so you're paying back the loan, the initial loan, but you're going to be paying more as well every month. So instead of paying me say £1,000, £1,000 as they say to service the loan, but on the top of that you're going to give me an extra £500. Okay, so this now I am giving you the money and you're paying me back the money, you're paying me extra. Okay, this is riba, this is the. But then I said to you, okay, Ayman, you don't have the money, I will buy the house with you, or I'll buy the house. Okay, so it's my house now, but now it's my house. You're gonna live in my house, you have to pay me rent. Yeah, so you're paying me rent, but if you want to buy the house off me, you can pay me every month, pay me a little bit in addition to the rent, because it's my house. Every time you pay me something, then I'm going to decrease my ownership and you will increase your share. So instead of me owning 100%, after 1 year I own 90%, you own 10%, and so on. Now when you pay me rent on 90%, and then you pay me rent on 80%, and so on. So do you see the difference? Because now I own the property, I'm helping you out. Because I'm giving you now, I'm giving you, but I own the property, or at least we're owning it jointly, but I have more, and then. So it's a different format, but it's making the same, because with the mortgage, they're not saying to you pay us rent, but they're saying to you pay us more, which is the interest on the loan, which is equivalent to the rent.
Well, if you compare the money you're paying, you're going to pay more in the halal mortgage monthly than paying on the non-halal.
You might be paying more. You might be paying more, but that's the issue is not with how much you're going to be paying. The issue is how the contract is going to be. And the contract is what makes it halal or haram, not the amount of money that you're paying. Yeah, and this is a common shubha that a lot of people mention. Common doubt is they say, "Oh, if I go to Islamic Mortgage, they're going to take more money out of me." They just obviously they are using the system, isn't it? They're using your need. You are needing. They are offering you something that you need, and so they're going to exploit you in that regards. They're exploiting you is haram, obviously, but they are a business. They're not doing it fi sabilillah. They're doing it as a business. They want to make money out of you, but you are at least comfortable in that this contract is not the riba contract, which is the other one. Yeah, and sometimes halal can be more expensive than halal can be more expensive than haram. So you have to. Okay, so that is the essence riba, and we said that some of the ulama said any type of non-acceptable buying and selling is riba. We'll talk about that next time, inshallah. Different types of buying and selling, which will include items which are not acceptable to buy and sell, or contracts which are not halal to do, especially things which have an element of deception and it's not clear. There's gharar, there's inaccuracy in it. Alright, jazakumullah khair. We'll end there. Subhanakallah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.